Hello. It is now 4 p.m. and I would like to call the regular or the special planning commission meeting of Tuesday, June 27th, 2024 to order. Um, Dan, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Honored. Or Commissioner DeVries, should I say?
Yes, please.
Clerk, can I please get a roll call?
Commissioner DeVries,
Here.
Commissioner Maderos,
Here.
Commissioner Pisano was absent, and
Excused, noted.
Chair Aranda.
Yes, or here. I'm tired.
Yeah.
All right, now we're gonna be moving over to public comment. Or actually, no, because this is a special, yeah, so just we're moving to our public hearing. All right, so moving on to agenda item number 2, public hearing, draft 2023 to 2031 general plan housing element update and fair housing analysis. Staff, do we have a report?
In summary, Chair and Planning Commissioners, this is essentially the same report that was presented to the Commission earlier in the month at your regular meeting, but we had a busy agenda that night, so it was asked that we plan a special workshop so we could go through in more detail and give the Commissioners more time and the community more time to read the revisions to our housing element. So these revisions have been submitted to State Housing and Community Development, but we wanted to share them with the community. You know how extensive the housing element is and how important it is to the growth and future of our city. So with that, we have Isaac George with us, and he's been working closely with the city.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, city manager, city attorney, planning director. At the last meeting, we have mentioned that this report was submitted to HCD, the report meaning the revisions to the housing element and the fair housing analysis was submitted to HCD based on comments that we have received from HCD. And subsequent to submitting this to the HCD, the commission wanted to know the status of the project, and we send a brief summary as is given to you today. The responses we have provided for each of the questions highlighted in yellow, and then followed by a list of all the programs that we recommended or we are proposing to HCD. And ACD has to go through all these, and then they will say, yeah, your proposal meets the state housing laws, or it doesn't, or they will need further corrections. So one of the questions at the last meeting that the commission raised, or at least members of the commission raised, was that whether or not we should rename the planning commission to also a housing commission. I think that was a critical question. And staff responded that many cities use this as a method to address many fair housing issues. Typically, small cities don't have a house.
Commercial break.
Isaac, are you still there? I think he's frozen. Guess we'll give it a few minutes to see if we can get him back online.
Thank you.
Looks like he's rebooting, yeah.
But for those joining us late, just we are waiting on our consultant to come back online.
It's the only thing on the agenda. That's for Tuesday's commission meeting.
Tuesdays. Oh. We
have
planning commission on Tuesday also? Yeah, this was a special. Man, we're not even getting paid. Is that?
I am. I should be getting paid twice.
So that's Tuesday the 9th or Tuesday the 2nd?
Tuesday
the second.
And what's the time for that?
Your usual time, 6 p.m. It's a regular meeting. Yeah.
There's GoFundMe.
Okay.
Don't worry, we can make it a plan where we have sandwiches per month. Oh, really? Yeah. What? You got invites too. That's so good. I can tell them. Still waiting for that delivery. I don't know if you have my address right. It hasn't arrived. Actually, we read them all the time. Delivery deliveries them, yeah. To San Juan, like at 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
But what does that cost them, like $20?
Yeah, it was rather than $15 sandwiches, and that's like a 50 of the But when you're desperate.
Single.
And your stove is not working,
Yeah.
and the refrigerator is
Then
out.
Panda Express, Popeyes.
Yeah.
Dude, they have a lot of hungry.
When Canada first started, I was like obsessed with their, I think it was orange chicken or something. Like, it's great. I wish we got our Chinese restaurant. Have you heard any rumblings about that lot in
Yeah,
general?
no,
Is that in the campus? Is that right?
I believe so,
Is that the one that Brandon Thompson?
yeah.
What lot is that?
In between
Hardina's,
Archer's place.
yeah, behind, that's right, Hardina's.
Like the green Indian, working on Plaza Market. And I'm sure it was, used to be called Casa Medina.
used to be a hardware store,
I see.
and that was part.
It's all blank.
China,
Like,
yeah.
They just scraped a lot after the fire.
And then they had a corrugated, building next to it, that will burn down. Where they have the empty lot now, that used to be a feed store. We get chicken feed and horse, yeah.
Yeah, it is too bad, cause that, everybody loved that. Like, can I have some connection?
You know, it's the one, like.
And when I
That's what
tried
our needs.
We're good at these, they're like, oh, we have really great Mexican restaurants. Oh, yeah, no, I'm good. I have my fill.
Yeah.
Reach my quota of Mexican food for the year.
That you, I was in You know, like just forces of people,
Oh, yeah.
like it'll be on and it just. I'm probably just waiting on the updates.
Let's send them an email.
And why the suit and tie for the city attorney today? Did you have court? You're muted, John.
He did have court.
Told you. I called it. The Zoom days are over, huh, buddy? Where you could wear a suit coat, shirt, tie, and shorts, because it was only from the chest up.
Those were the good old days.
Those were the good old days. Who's the presiding judge over Monterey these days? Is it Carrie? I mean, Judge Panetta?
Carrie Panetta. It was
She's
Pam
awesome.
Butler. Now it's Carrie Panetta.
Isn't she great?
She really is.
She's sharp.
Yep.
Hi, Isaac, how are you?
What, Don?
And have you tried to get in the second time? Oh, please, thanks. That's his phone too. Took them a while to call.
If not, we will, oops, for those on the call, we will, wait another 3 more minutes, and if not, we will continue this, meeting for another time. Never mind, we're gonna have our city staff, run this call. And do the presentation. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, at our last. I'm on mute. So at our last meeting, you requested a discussion of the housing elements. We could go over in more detail in case any members of the public wanted to talk about it. But one of the big kind of concerns we had at the last one was the housing board and what that would mean. And so essentially it would mean that you would have dual roles. And you would be the housing board for complaints, if there are any, for people to come, because part of that. Part of what HCD wants is that if there is concerns, complaints, that people have a place that they can go to speak to them, not just to city staff, but, you know, a government, a body of the city. So what that would mean is we'd have an added item onto your agenda. It shouldn't take that long. Maybe we have someone come speak. Maybe we don't have anyone. Maybe we do have something that you need to do for staff, such as if there's an affordable housing program that we need you to weigh in on, or if we want to do some other things, we might bring it to you so that you can talk about it and vote upon it. So it's not just staff, it's you. And I don't think it's that much work where it would be daunting for you to take it on. Otherwise, we're looking at having another body, having them come in for maybe a 5-10 minute meeting sometimes. It seems like a lot.
Because Erica, the complaints you're referring to, we have a fair housing analysis that goes with this. And the state is concerned that a tenant, for example, who has a complaint against their landlord, doesn't have a body to appeal to. So we would be providing that body. So when we talk about complaints, it's not complaints about city hall necessarily. It's complaints about tenants and landlords and those types of things.
Yeah. So I don't know if we want to talk about that one a little bit more, if you.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I thought we discussed like creating some kind of, I don't know, I can't remember if it was like an email alias or something where someone could report that, and then we would just see it instead of changing the name and doing this whole thing. Yeah.
I'm still opposed to that. So, and that was gonna be my question, Don and Erica, would this be on an app?
I know, I do it all the time.
Would something show up on a planning commission agenda on an as needed basis, or would it be a reoccurring thing?
It would be, now, don't forget, this is so preliminary. This is.
Totally.
We're telling the state we're gonna do it, and then we have to come up with the.
Put the legs under the table?
Yeah, how we really do it. And we could talk about something today. We could change our mind until we establish it. You know, we have some time to do it. It's not tomorrow, we have made it so. In my mind, what it would be is there's an item on your agenda that is like your public comment. It's public comment under this board. And then we're done, right? No one's here, no one's here. If someone's here, they can speak. And then if we had something we had to take to you, it would be its own, let's say, line item, agenda item under your board title, but it's not an extra meeting. We can do it all at the same time.
Essentially, the board, the planning commission would resign, and just all stay seated and say, okay, we're opening the public housing meeting now for public comment. Are there any public comments? Take them, and then you close it and you go on to the planning commission meeting. We used to do this with redevelopment all the time.
Yeah.
The same board.
Well, We did that here with Historic Resources Board for years and
Yeah.
years, same thing. But I don't think that really, or maybe I missed it. Is this something that would happen at every meeting or just every once in a while or quarterly, or what would the frequency be?
Personally, I think you should allow someone to make comments at every meeting. It's the fair thing to do, but again, I don't think we're looking at a lot of time. If we're talking about if we bring an item to you, maybe 2 times per year. I don't think that that would be something we'd have to work out as we have, let's say, more affordable housing or other things in the city where we needed the board to weigh in. That's a much harder one to judge at this point because we haven't really started. I would say it would be a public comment period such as you have, right before planning commission starts.
Well, what about this? I know we had talks about separating HRB from planning. And that would be its own commissioners or whatever. Could we tie, if we were to do that, could we tie that to HRB? Since they barely have anything on there anyway?
Hey, what we do is very important. I'm not gonna sit here and let you denigrate.
I'm just saying, if
fellow
we're looking
historians
at.
Like David Maderos. I know he's very offended right now.
Cause HRB barely has anything anyway, so like then, tie it,
Do those things go together though? Fair housing?
not really,
They
no,
go together, especially because you act on a housing project.
got it.
So I would say that it should stay with the plan.
So are we a board or a commission?
Commission.
Commission.
Your commission.
So the housing commission, is that, what's the title of it?
Affordable Housing Commission?
Again, we don't have to.
We don't
decide
know yet.
something. We just have to say, okay, we will go forward and create this idea. So for example. in here,
Implement
there's
this
things
idea.
Like, we're gonna change the zoning ordinance to update to reflect density bonus law. We just say we're gonna do it. I don't have to have it in hand. The hello state, we said we're gonna do it. I have a draft right here. We're working on it. The housing elements over a period of years. We have time to work on it. We give our like deadlines or whatever it is in this housing element, but it's not, we have figured out entirely how we do it, but it's that you're agreeing that in some sort of fashion, the planning commission is going to take on this little task.
Erica, do you envision, or Don, any need to amend the San Juan Bautista Municipal Code in as much as the code, the planning commission is a creature of the code, the HRB is a creature of the code. So would this, whatever you call it, fair housing grievance thing, also live in a newly adopted section in the code?
Most likely, yes.
Okay.
And the housing element references numerous revisions to our zoning code, so it'd be all swept up in one package. For the planning commission and council to do. Yeah, there's probably a dozen different changes that need to occur.
Yeah, we have quite a few. We have density bonus. I think we have,
And I had a member of the public asking who Erica was. So this is Erica Frazier,
Sorry.
and she's our acting community development director from Four Leaf.
Yeah, one question I've got, hearing this, why isn't this coming from our city council through a resolution? That we go forward with this, so that we have the direction, we have the power and having them supporting us on what we're trying to do here today.
so you will, the path to housing element is different than a normal path to doing something, let's say, because we already took it through planning commission to the city council, and then it goes to the state, and then the state reviews it and gives us comments. You do not go far enough in this area. You do not give us enough housing sites, whatever the case may be, the state comes back to us. It's already gone through. Now we're tweaking it, making revisions. It's just a different path through. Now, whatever is in this housing element doesn't automatically poof magically appears and it's done. We have to work on it. So, for example, we need to do something about single room occupancies. That would be something within the zoning ordinance. It says we're gonna do it. We say, yes, we have turned in our housing element. We agree, we're gonna work on that. We're gonna draft language. You're gonna look at it, and then it will go on to the city council. So city council ultimately makes that determination. Work toward, we agree that yes, the board would lie with the planning commission. We don't know all the specifics yet. But we agree to that. Once the housing element gets adopted, we start working towards that, and then municipal code, city council ultimately adopts it.
Isaac?
Sir, I'm back. I hope you can hear me. My sincere apologies for the technical difficulties I've been facing. I hope you can listen to me, hear me.
Yep.
We could definitely hear you.
Or I don't know what to say. Technology sometimes beats you.
No worries.
We have been going through the document and making substantial progress.
Oh, good, good, good. I knew you would do at least discuss some of the programs there.
So I guess the question to you is, are you kind of comfortable moving forward with this idea? That the board would lie here in this space, and then we'll figure out the specifics obviously later.
Right, and the reason that's important, the way I've grown up at City Hall is, because the city council is the appeal board.
Mm,
So if you had a hearing on a fair housing hearing and you agreed with the landlord, not the tenant, then the tenant could appeal that to the
and it
council.
can go to council, okay. And another question, and again, we would just change our name, planning commission and housing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
They're
and
gonna take off one hat.
and
put on the
okay,
other.
it's kind of like the HRB situation, but with this being said, is the state just wanting the name, like that it has to have housing, like if in other words, if we created a housing complaints or housing something at SJ San Juan dash Bautista, whatever that email that we have is, and then someone makes a complaint, then couldn't it just end up on our planning commission meeting agenda to address right there and then?
Someone could, let's say, email us, but we also need people to, we need to give people an opportunity to come and speak. Right? So they have two opportunities. One is maybe I don't.
Complaint and then in person.
Maybe I don't have internet or,
Got it.
whatever it is, so that they have that opportunity.
Would I be able to put in us, when I say, hey, I'm opening us up for public comment, this is the time for stuff that's not on the agenda, but also if there's a housing thing.
To follow kind of the letter of what HCD wants.
Got it.
'Cause we gotta be separate.
Got it, okay. They want a
Yeah.
separate body.
Separate body.
Got it.
That being said, I mean, I'm not hung up on the title of it.
Yeah.
But I think we've submitted it to the state. They said they want this. If we say yes, but we're gonna work on it, we're just gonna work on it. That's fair.
Okay.
We don't have to have everything figured out. And
Okay.
we will never have everything figured out right when a housing element goes, because there's work we have to do. We have to amend a zoning ordinance. We have to do other things.
Yeah.
We have programs we have to put in place, or, for some cities, they have staff they have to hire, or whatever it is, you have time to work on it.
Okay, well,
You have to have many hats, maybe. That takes sense.
yeah, so planning and house,
So my feeling, you asked about comfort levels, my feeling is. I think it was floated out there last time that, this body would be called the San Juan Bautista Planning Commission and Housing Board, or the San Juan Bautista Planning and Housing Commission, or something like that, and I hate that. I'd love to see the planning commission remain separate and autonomous. If you want to add a new title for the new hat on the top, embroidered, a little bit bigger for me, that's fine. But I don't like San Juan Bautista Planning and Housing Commission.
I like it, if not, then you make that board, and then it's the same people on there, and we just switch out like the HRB.
Yeah.
Right there and then, like we'll.
Or in the future, I had 5 more. people.
Yeah, in the future, if it wants to open up, yeah, then you could just vote in if you wanted, if it got big to become too much. Yeah,
Yes, and it would come to be through an ordinance, as you suggest.
Right.
yeah. So,
Mr. Chair, if I may chime in, there is not so much in a name. The Planning Commission can stay as the Planning Commission. All what we would have to do is to amend the ordinances, allowing the commission to also handle housing-related questions from the public. So that would only be a change in terms of the responsibilities of the planning commission, what they can, what they cannot do, and that can be done through an ordinance amendment. Now, with regards to handling, let's say we remain as a planning commission, but we also want to tell the state, yes, we do have the planning commission who will also look at the housing issues. Okay, how would we do that? At every meeting, we would just have a subset of the agenda saying housing and related issues. And the chair would ask the members of the public if there are any questions to be specifically addressed concerning housing. There may be questions, there may be none. If there are no questions, we'll say no comments received, and that ends the matter. So there are so many ways of doing it. So a name in itself is not an issue. The question is, could the planning commission hear anyone's complaints? And the subsequent part is the planning commission equipped to investigate as well as provide decisions on those? The planning commission doesn't have to decide on case whether there was discrimination, whether there was something illegitimate. The planning commission can refer to another body that we can contract with within the county, or there are so many nonprofits who will investigate those independently with a contract with the city. They may charge the city a certain amount of fees in order to get that referral from the planning commission, investigate the matter, and report it back to the planning commission or the city saying, yeah, there was an issue, there is no issue, things have been resolved. So the step-by-step process can be handled very easily. So the planning commission doesn't really have to adjudicate whether somebody is guilty or not guilty.
Well, I kind of like that idea of just having like an extra agenda item every time. And then there's hardly going to be anything, like we said, maybe 2 times a year, and we just have agenda number, and we just say, hi, we're opening up for any housing complaints. Nothing, any comments? No, move on to the next. I don't know, how many commissioners do, rather than starting up this whole new, it is 6 o'clock, we're opening up the housing out,
It could be driven by the fact that we have a complaint versus no complaints at
no
all.
complaints at all.
Why would we want to meet?
Yeah,
We're not gonna sit there and discuss it.
I like that idea. And then so Isaac, does that require that we still need to amend the ordinance or whatever it was that you were saying, or we can just
It's on the
continue?
agenda.
It's just on the agenda.
I would defer that to the city attorney, who is well versed in the methods of allowing planning commission to discuss a certain matter or not. Typically, planning commission doesn't discuss, things like civil rights issues, discrimination issues, but at least if the ordinance or the city municipal code allows you to hear a complaint, receive a complaint, and that'll be part of your responsibility. And then we can forward it to the relevant agency who would investigate. I mean, typically, if it's a big city, the city attorney's office would have assistant city attorneys and investigators, and they would probably take care of those kinds of things and make decisions on their own, like City of Los Angeles. They have so many people, but a small city such as ours would not have the luxury. And the city attorney, unless of course the city attorney's office says, yes, we can investigate that matter and give you a report back, that's a separate issue. But there are nonprofits who does these specific investigations in our area, in the Bay Area. And I could provide a listing of those kind of entities, and we could have a contract with them. And we could also look at the possibility of the county doing that for us on a contract. So how we get to that is modalities that we can discuss in the future. The question is, would the planning commission feel comfortable in me coming and saying, hey, look, I have a housing issue that I want you to listen to. And then you can say, okay, Isaac, we heard your case. We will refer that to the city attorney's office, and the city attorney will look at the matter and say, yeah, we can refer this to this nonprofit entity that we have contracts with. And that's the solution to it. So then the state will say, okay, the city has a mechanism to address this. not that they don't know what to do. We cannot say, yeah, we don't really address that. We can address it through the county. We can just have a contract with the county and not have the planning commission do anything. Somebody may come to city manager's office or the city clerk's office and say, hey, I have a complaint. Who do I do? What do I do? Who do I talk to? They'll say, yes, here is a number to the county office. You go and give your complaint, and they will investigate it on behalf of us. So there are very many ways of doing things. It's not a big deal, at least in my opinion.
Thank you. Commissioners, any other comments on that item? No worries.
So here, I'm looking at the process here. So if someone walks out of the public and they bring forward a complaint somewhere along the line, we're gonna have to describe what the process is. And all of us agree that that's the direction we're going to address complaints. So I guess we gotta look at how we're gonna set this up. As far as the process goes, leading up to and when it brings before the commission. So we're not even there yet, so. So there's a lot to be said yet.
Yeah.
And today, I don't think we can go forward with anything positive, other than the fact that I think we need to go forward with this and see what we're gonna end up with.
Okay, I agree. So then, so are we saying we're choosing to go that route where we just add an agenda item and then open it up?
I think that staff can take that under advisement, but honestly, we're not even there. This is just a discussion.
Yeah.
We can't take an action.
No worries.
And it was just more of, we've submitted it to the state. If we had to change it, we have to change it with the state. As far as if you said, absolutely not, we're not touching this thing.
Got it.
So it sounds like you feel comfortable, but we're gonna have long discussions about how we're gonna implement it and in what fashion, and we will do that during a regular planning session.
Got it. Thank you.
In the meantime, a question to the commission. Would you feel comfortable for staff to let HCD know that we want to retract from the naming convention from planning and housing to just retaining ourselves as the planning commission? However, we will amend the ordinances or whatever is necessary as part of the housing element program implementation to make sure that the planning commission will be able to hear or listen to complaints about housing issues.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Because this is a public hearing, you may also want to open the public hearing and ask if there are any members of the public.
Oh, sorry, I thought we weren't voting.
No, you can unanimously vote. I don't think you need to vote on it specifically. City attorney may opine on that.
Okay. So then open it up.
Open for public hearing to hear any comments from the public, if there is any.
Yeah, anybody in chambers? Sorry, we're getting a lot of echoing. But anyone in chambers? I gotta ask anyways. Yeah, no. Anyone on Zoom that has any comments related to that?
Chair, seeing no hands raised and nobody in chambers.
Thank you. Commissioners, any comments?
No further comment.
Chair, can you close the public hearing?
Yeah, so I guess we take a vote then, right?
Close
Or just close the hearing for
Public hearing is closed.
yeah, public hearing is closed.
So my only comment is just more of an editorial one, that as I totally understand your comment, Erica, that we just need to be able to tell the state, look, we're putting this in, we're gonna pursue this. The actual implementation, devil in the details, whatever you want to call it, to follow. And I think that we all would like to be privy to the implementation thoughts and conversations you have with others as they happen. Just to kind of check in, like, we're heading this direction. What do you think? Yeah, okay, sounds good. But we know you'll do a good job.
All right. Is that it? Nothing else?
Thank you.
All right, well, easy peasy. We'll close it then. The next regular planning commission meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024. It is 4:52 p.m. and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Isaac. Thank you, John. Thank you, Erica.
Thank you, Erica. You're welcome, thanks.